Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Glow Up podcast. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about something I get asked constantly. And honestly, it's a question that I've sat with for many, many, many years and I always come back to. And that is fate real? Is destiny real? Or is it all just free will? Is it all just us? Because you've probably said like it was meant to be, or everything happens for a reason, a relationship, whether that's a job that you didn't get, a friendship that ended. And you've probably said the opposite, like, I create my own reality, I manifest everything, nothing is fixed. So which is it? Because it can't be both, right? And it always confused me with the whole I create my own reality. There's, infinite timelines available to me. But then on the flip side, like everything happens for a reason and what's meant for you won't go past you kind of vibes. And I was like, what is going on? So I dived in and that's what we're unpacking today. And obviously it's a bit of a big one. So get comfortable because we're going very deep, very spiritual and very woo woo, which of course you wouldn't be here if you weren't. So before I get into this, I do need to say something because obviously I take this stuff quite seriously. Everything I'm about to share isn't me claiming to know exactly what actually happens when we die or exactly why we're here. It's genuinely just years of me looking at different spiritual teachers and mentors, my own meditation practice, where I've got downloads and knowings. And a lot of my conversations with my mum and my nana, who have obviously explored this a lot longer than I have in their own ways and through other mentors that they've worked with. But I'm not up here saying like, this is fact, this is truth, this is what we're here for, because like I say in all of my episodes and all of the things I do on socials, we are not meant to fully know why we're here. We have this sense of amnesia when we come into this earth experience in this game of life for a reason, because if we knew why we were here, if we knew every tiny little nitty-gritty detail, life would have no meaning. So the whole point of it is to figure it out and to have fun and play while we're here. So I'm not saying that this is exactly what happens. We'll never really truly know. But like I said, I've done a lot of study with spiritual teachers and looked at traditions and frameworks and so much reading on this because it genuinely lights me up. Like, this is not just study for the sake of like learning it. Like, it's something that has always been drawn to me ever since I was really young. I've always wanted to know about this stuff and it literally excites me on another level. I can't even explain to you. Like, if I ever see a book that has something about this, I'm immediately reading it. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't, use your discernment, but just letting you know, like, I'm not up here saying like I know the meaning of life because we never really do, right? We're just trying to figure it out one step at a time. So I'm going to split up today in like little segments of things that I truly believe, and I have, seen a thread among all the spiritual mentors and gurus and leaders that, you've probably seen online or via, books and authors and people who've made a really big impact on the world. There is always a thread of truth with all of them. And I've tried to piece that thread together today for you so that you can have all of those little puzzle pieces all combined into this one. So I've just split it into like different segments of the beliefs that I know in my gut are true and what I've seen play out, especially since starting this journey and exploring more of my spirituality online as well, and like having other people talk to me about it and doing readings for people and soul blueprints for people. So each kind of segment has its own overarching concept of whether or not it is fate or if it is free will. So the first one is you choose the settings. And so this is the first piece of the whole puzzle, and it's the one that tends to blow people's minds quite a bit. The belief, and again, this shows up across many different spiritual frameworks, is that you choose your birthday, right? And in some frameworks, you choose your death date too. And think of it like a character creation in a video game, right? Because that genuinely is the closest metaphor I've ever gotten to see how this whole thing works. And I call it the game of life for a reason. Before you drop into the game, you're choosing your settings. And your birthday is one of the biggest settings you choose because it determines your astrology, your human design, your life path number. It determines so much more than what you think, because when you think of the universe and all the things that are happening in the universe, the time that that soul takes its first moment of life, it is like a cheat code to who you are as a soul and what you came here to do. And I actually think it's one of the most beautiful parts of the whole thing. Like, your astrology isn't some vague, horoscope nonsense. Like, it is, like I said, a cheat code, genuinely. Like, the universe hands you this insanely detailed guide the second you arrive, your sun, your moon, your rising, your placements, your human design. And it's basically saying, like, here's your character sheet. Here's your strengths, here's your weaknesses, here's what you're going to be tested on, here's the energy you're built with. And this is actually such a huge part of what I do with my soul blueprints over on Instagram. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll pop it in the show notes. But it does become, it's like a map of why you are here and the way that you are, like why certain things come easy to you and certain things feel like a constant freaking lesson. So you didn't just show up here randomly. You actually picked your entry point into the game for a reason, and your birthday is never a coincidence. It's a pure decision that your soul chose, and it comes with a built-in guide to who you actually are when you chose that as well. Okay, so the next segment is soul contracts. So the second piece of this, and this is also the one I get the most messages about, is soul contracts. So the idea here is that the other people in your life, and I mean the significant ones, the ones who really shape who you are, whether that's good or bad, are not random either. They're other souls, other players in this game who have essentially agreed to encounter with you in this lifetime. So you've both said yes to this. Not necessarily consciously, not in some, fairy tale way. Like, it's hard to understand as a human, but on a soul level, you agree to show up in each other's story for this lifetime. And how close someone is to you, how big a role they play, that just depends on the level of growth that is involved with that person. Because that's actually the whole point of the game. It's like to play and it's to expand. It's like that's the point of it, to play and expand. So if someone comes into your life and gives you something, even if that something is painful, even if it's heartbreak, a betrayal, something like a friendship that's ended really badly, whatever it is, that's what they came here for. And that was the agreement and that was the contract. But this is where it gets really interesting too, because a lot of spiritual teachers talk about past lives in this context. So like the idea that you may have had previous lifetimes with those same souls, and now in this lifetime you might be in completely different roles. So someone who's your sister in this lifetime might have been your best friend 2 lifetimes ago. Someone who's your mother now might have actually been your child in a past life. It's just this concept that like sometimes 2 souls could have been married in one lifetime and then they're in-laws in this one, like same connection. And there's a soul recognition sometimes, but you're just in a different avatar and a different role in this story this time around. And I think that's why, I don't know about you, but some people you meet and it just hits very different. Like you meet someone and there's this instant, and so maybe not when you first meet them, but as you get to know them, there's this inexplicable closeness. Like you've known them before. You're like, what the hell? Like I feel like I know you. Or the opposite, someone you've just met and you feel this deep unease and you can't explain why. Like that's not random. Like it's recognition that your soul is remembering something that your mind can't access. So far when you think about it, there's not a whole lot of free will happening. So you've had, obviously you picked your birth date and your death date, right, in the simulation because they're all quite significant and it means quite a lot for your game experience, your life experience. And then also you picked some soul contracts that are very specific to your expansion and to your game here and to your growth here, whether that's karmic lessons, whether that's things that you need to do in this lifetime that you've chosen to do here for a reason. But now the third piece is how I'm just going to flip that on its head, because you have complete free will while you're in this simulation. So like I said, we've chosen our entry point, and if the people in your life are contracted players in your life, where does this free will actually come in? Because this is where I used to be like, hang on, that like sounds like everything's already decided for me. And this is why I find this the most fascinating. So the way I understand it, and this is where it gets properly quite woo-woo, so stick with me, it's that we are existing inside something like a simulation where infinite, and I don't mean like millions or billions, infinite timelines are happening all at once in the game. Not one after the other, all at once, every possible version of your life past, future, present, all of it is all happening right now. Every possible choice, every possible outcome, it's all sitting there dormant, almost like it's asleep, like in a dream state, waiting to be entered. And you're conscious in this version of it, right? And so what you do moment by moment is you observe. You choose which timeline, which version of life you step into. And that's free will. That's the real free will. Not is my life predetermined or not, but technically your life is predetermined because every infinite possibility out of infinite dormant possibilities are already available to you. So it's which one you are going to choose to make real right now in this simulation with your thoughts, with your decisions, with your actions. And here's the consequence of that. If you ignore a lesson, if you keep dodging the same pattern over and over, you don't actually get let off the hook. You just loop it. So you'll keep hitting that same wall, that same relationship pattern, that same fear, that same block again and again until you actually deal with it. And if you don't deal with it in this lifetime, a lot of teachers believe you'll come back and experience some version of it again in like a karmic lesson in a new life until it's actually finally integrated. I don't know if you know like people in your life that seem to have the same problem and everywhere they go it follows them, like they change jobs but then that problem kind of follows them into the next job, or whether it's a relationship thing, like they keep jumping from relationships. It's like sometimes there's a pattern that's trying to loop you there, or there's someone that's like really intriguing to you but you're too scared to kind of open up to them and get to know them. But every point in your life they keep getting put in your path for a reason. They keep getting closer to you for a reason and then drifting apart. And then eventually you finally give in and you get to know them, or you get to, experience them on a deeper level. And then you realize what a significant soul contract that person probably was for you. And you were going to keep looping. The simulation was going to keep looping them and their path in your way until you guys actually decided to meet. Like if you think of your partner or your soulmate or a best friend or a family member, their universe will, you, because you are the universe, will keep putting them in your path for a reason so that your souls connect in this lifetime. It's like literally the universe just keeps handing you the same test in different outfits until you finally pass it. And so through all of this, you're not doing it totally alone either. And this is where like your higher self and your guides come in, not as some like external force controlling what happens to you, but it's more like a support system. It's like you don't come here alone having to play this game by yourself. Like you have energy and souls that aren't in the physical avatar that are kind of guiding you through this experience. And, you can go back and listen to my higher self episode where I talk about that in depth, where there is a portion of your soul that kind of hovers above you in this lifetime to help guide you on the right path for your best experience in terms of playing at the highest level and expanding as much as you can, and like letting the lessons come and letting the soul contracts be had, because that is the point of the game. Obviously, it's to experience. It's not to coast on autopilot and not do anything. All right. So the next segment in this is your purpose is simpler than you think. And I think this is the part that probably matters the most because of, everyone wants to know what their purpose is, right? Like how often have you thought about like, what is my purpose here? Like what is the reason that I am here? And I think we massively, massively, massively overcomplicate the idea of purpose. And I used to absolutely do that as well. We think of it as like this grand singular mission, like you have to discover the one thing that you're here to do. And I really don't think it's like that at all. I think your purpose at its core is so much more simple than that. Your purpose is to literally be your truest avatar and then actually play as that freaking avatar. Like that's it. That's the whole point. And the reason that that's actually hard is because most people will never get there because we're constantly hiding ourselves. Constantly. We act a way that we don't actually feel on the inside. We shrink and what we say because we're scared of like how we're going to come across or how it'll land. Like we're literally handed gifts, your astrology, human design, life path. You are handed a unique avatar that has never had any experience in the past or the future. Like this is a once in a lifetime avatar that you're handed with a built-in blueprint for exactly who you're meant to be in this life. And majority of the world denies that. We override it because it doesn't fit the mold of what we should be doing, because it's inconvenient, because someone once told us that side of us was too much. But when you finally stop denying it, when you actually listen to yourself and you trust yourself and you speak as yourself, no gap between your thoughts and what comes out your mouth, you just speak, that's the real meaning underneath all of this. And that's when you stop being a passive player and just letting this game happen to you on autopilot, and you become an active player and you're actually playing the game on purpose as yourself. I have felt this so deeply in the past year of my life, going from, a teacher who was playing a role to fit everyone else's expectations. Like, I've always just wanted like a cute, beautiful home, wholesome family, a normal amount of money, my 2 kids, being a teacher. I don't need to be an extravagant one, all to play safe so that I look a certain way, like I look like I'm doing the right thing and the good thing. And when I finally stopped, listen, and also on top of that, I was always considered this shy person, this put together person, this type A personality. And the more that I embraced what I naturally want to do, not what I think I should do to impress other people, I am so not like the version I was all through my early 20s. Like, I am chaotic and I'm a party girl and I'm loud and I'm confident and I'm flirtatious and I'm silly and I'm quite messy and I'm quite flustered. And I used to hide all of that so that I looked put together. And what I found was all of those parts of me make me who I am. And I've hidden for so long the spiritual side of me in order to not come across weird. And now that I've finally embraced that, it's wild the amount of people in my life who have been quite impressed by it instead of, making me feel less than because of it. I just now feel like I've never in my life felt more like me ever. And I never want to get back to that point where I start to hide any part of me. I just want to fully express myself as Molly the Avatar with how she wants to feel, how she feels on the inside, how her soul wants to express herself. Allow her the freedom to do that. Allow her the privilege of this beautiful lifetime to be her, fully her, and not let a single thing hold me back. No one's perception of me can change what I'm meant to do. And you'll find that now that I've done this and I've really broken that barrier and I've pushed all of that aside and I've allowed myself to be me, it's funny just how much more likable that I am. And it's actually the benefits of me hiding are actually now I'm getting the benefits of what I used to think I would get from hiding by being myself. Because the more myself I am, the more authentic I am, the more people are drawn to me, the more opportunities are drawn to me, the more money is drawn to me, the more my relationships have expanded and grown, and I've gotten closer and connected to people on ways that I never have before. And the most I've been complimented in my fucking life is since starting this Instagram and since letting go of who I think I should be. I've never felt hotter. I've never felt more loved because I've opened myself up. And in doing so, it's allowed everyone else around me to also open up. And so I truly believe that is kind of what your purpose here on earth is. It's really simply to figure out who you are at your core, not allowing the filter, not allowing a single filter to come into play. And then when you start living that way, you start to get little breadcrumbs of what path to follow. And then your purpose becomes quite clear because you can see when you're being authentic in your career, in your relationships, in just yourself, how downloads, ideas, opportunities, things come to you in your path that all line up in really miraculous ways. And then you really do feel like you're playing a game of life on the highest possible level and you're expanding so fast. And it just feels like you're like a rocket ship, just like smashing through whatever comes in your path. All right, so let's bring it back to the actual question now that I've kind of gone through those first few segments. Is destiny real then? If we think about all those parts so far, is it actually real? Is it fate real? And here's where I land. Destiny, in the way that most people think about it, some fixed, unavoidable event that's going to happen to you no matter what, I don't think is real. Absolutely not. Because you have infinite timelines available to you all the time. So nothing is locked. Nothing is one singular, unavoidable path. But destiny in a different sense, yeah, I think is quite real, because I think your real destiny is your choice. It's what your gut is telling you right now in this moment. It's the breadcrumb right in front of you, and your only job is to follow it. That's it. That's the whole secret. If there even is one, is you picked your entry point, you agreed to certain players showing up in your story, and now every single day you're choosing which timeline to step into next. You're the one playing the game. I'm going to repeat that so that you really settles in. You're the one playing the game. You've gotten settings, and you've gotten certain things in place, but you get to play it how you want to play it. The real question isn't, is my life already written? It's, am I actually listening to what my gut already knows, and am I brave enough to follow it for this lifetime? Okay, to finish, I just want you to sit with one question before you go. Where in your life have you been calling something fate when really it's just you avoiding a choice that you already know you need to make? Or on the flip side of that, where are you denying that you created your own reality and blaming it on, well, that was always going to happen for me? Because you have all the power in your hands. Literally, in your hands right now, you have the full power of the universe around you, guiding you through this beautiful game, this beautiful lifetime that is ahead of you. And like I said, if you have infinite possible timelines available, infinite versions of Molly avatars living, there's a billionaire one, there's a cute little teacher one, there's an Instagram one, there's a one with 10 kids, there's one with 2 kids. There is infinite timelines of the Molly avatar available to me, and I get to listen into my soul about which one I want to step into day by day, knowing that I have all the power, I have all of the strength within me. And when I get called and when I have a desire, any desire means that that desire is your soul calling you towards that, no matter what it is, and that it is available to you. You just have to lock in on it or not. And so I just want to remind you right now that nothing can stop you from what you want in life. Nothing can hold you back, because you have it all. And yes, there is a sense of fate and destiny within you that you know your soul, it wants to experience for this life. And when you can uncover that, the easiest way to uncover that is to just start being yourself, because we think we are ourselves, but when you really break it down, are you speaking and acting as if how you feel on the inside, or are you censoring yourself in order to come across a certain way? Because it's very natural and it's very normal. I've been doing it my whole life. Before you go, I do want to let you know that if you want to go deeper on your own blueprint, like your astrology, so that's your sun, your moon, your rising sign, also your north and south nodes, which are kind of like what your, purpose here is on life and what your past lives were, your human design, and your life path number for this life, basically your cheat code for the lifetime. Go check in the show notes and I'll send you the link, because I do soul blueprint readings and I do these custom for you. Thank you so much for listening to another episode. And as always, please DM me if anything really hit home for you, because it means the world to me. Like, I love filming these podcasts. I feel like they make me expand and grow so much by doing them. And I'd love to hear your feedback, and please send it along to someone who you might think will really benefit. Thank you so much, my loves.